Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's ETA Prime back here again. Finally back from Germany after checking out the new ROG Xbox Ally and the Ally X. It was a pretty good time. ASUS and Xbox had a crazy booth with the giant ROG Xbox Ally X up top. It was pretty insane. I mean, they kind of went all out for this whole setup here. I spent a lot of hands-on time with both of the devices, and there was a few things that I wasn't able to film, but in this video, I kind of wanted to talk about the software. Now, we know what kind of hardware we've got here. There's two different models, and the one that I'm most excited about is the ROG Xbox Ally X. It's got that Ryzen Z2 Extreme 80 watt-hour battery and the same 7-inch 120Hz display that we see in the original ROG Ally and the Ally X right now. And I do think that ASUS, Xbox, and Microsoft are taking great steps forward when it comes to Windows on a handheld. They've got a lot of great ideas. Hopefully it's implemented properly. And during my hands-on, I was able to test out a few of the new features here. And in this video, I wanted to talk about these new software changes when it comes to Windows on a handheld. Once the ROG Xbox Ally and the Ally X are released, I do think we'll see all of these features backported to the original Ally, the Ally X, and other handhelds. I mean, there's really not going to be much stopping us from installing something like this on a third-party handheld. And of course, as it is right now, running Windows on a handheld can be a bit cumbersome. Navigation isn't great, so that's exactly what Xbox and ASUS are trying to fix here. So basically, when booting up the new ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X, we're going to come to a menu that looks just like this. The Windows desktop is not going to load. It's going to save around 2 gigs of memory, so we don't have to worry about that. And at any given time, you can actually open up the game bar and enable the desktop. So you can get right over there if you want to. But if you're strictly looking for a handheld gaming experience, it's going to boot up to something that looks kind of like this. We've also got the aggregated games library. We'll always have Game Pass here. If we go to our library, you'll see that each one of these has a little bit of a different icon by it. All of my stuff is Steam here. So this is just scan my default directories, and you can actually get this right now on your PC or handheld. Not all of the features are going to be available, but the aggregated library is. It'll get you right to home. You can jump right back in. You can find new games. Should be pretty nice, and not having to deal with the desktop is really awesome. Another thing we're going to have here is the ability to log in just with the controller. So you're going to set up a pen like you would with any Windows installation. With the ROG Xbox Ally's built-in controller, we can input our pin right there, just like we would, let's say, on the Xbox right now. Pretty neat little feature. Armory Crate SE is going to be baked into the game bar, and we can access this at any given time by pressing that Xbox button on the ROG Xbox Ally. So we can change the TDP from here, resolution. We can bring up an on-screen keyboard, change it from gamepad mode to desktop mode, change the refresh rate, just like we would with Armory Crate right now on the Ally and the Ally X. From the initial boot, not even seeing the desktop on these handhelds is going to be a real treat. Of course, it's going to save memory. They stated it's going to save around 2 gigs of memory, but another thing it's going to save is just CPU headroom, because all of the tasks that are needed to run that desktop don't need to be run here. And if you open up a task manager right now in Windows 11, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff running even when you're just sitting idle. And even though we've got a gaming handheld here, Microsoft and Xbox still want to push some AI capabilities. With the ROG Xbox Ally X, we get that Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme. So we've got that NPU, and one thing that they've been showing off recently is their built-in gaming co-pilot. Basically an AI assistant for games, and it is game aware. So right now it knows I'm running Doom: The Dark Ages, and you can ask it several different questions. But we've also got a little section here. What can you do for me? It's going to give you a list of everything that it can do. And right now, at the time I'm making this video, it is game aware, but it doesn't know exactly where you are in a game. I was actually just trying to ask it, where are the secrets in this level? Obviously, it doesn't know, so you will have to input that level, and it can actually just search online and find those for you. Give you a little readout here. Not sure how much I'm going to be utilizing this, but it might come in handy for some people out there. Another thing that Xbox announced was their handheld compatibility program, kind of like Steam Deck Verified, but they've gone through a bunch of games, and I guess right now it's just for the Game Pass stuff and stuff that's on the Windows Store. They're going to have a little bit of a rating telling us if the game's fully compatible, mostly compatible, not playable. This will be really great for people who just want to get into a game that works properly on these handhelds. Another thing they've got going on here are pre-cached shader packs that you can download with the game. So a lot of these newer AAA games hitting the market do need to cache shaders before the game really starts up, and you might have seen screens that look like this or this. Sometimes it can take quite a while, especially on a lower end mobile chip like we have here. So what Xbox is going to do is cache those shaders server side so you don't have to worry about wasting battery, and you're going to download that pack with the game. So as soon as it installs, you can get up and playing without having to cache those shaders. And the last thing I wanted to talk about here is something that I'm really interested in, and it has to do with the NPU in that Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme. I personally love playing my handhelds in dock mode, connected to a larger display and a dock, whether I'm using just like a little external dongle or, a full-fledged dock with a bunch of ports on it. Just getting over to the big screen with a wireless controller is awesome. And what ASUS and Xbox are going to do here is pretty great. We're actually going to be able to utilize the NPU in this thing to upscale our games on the big screen. Right now, at the time of making this video, they only stated that this is going to work on external displays, but I don't see why it couldn't work on the internal display. But either way, they've only been talking about this with external displays, but what we're getting here is automatic super resolution powered by the NPU. So since it's running on the NPU, it looks like the X version is the only one that's going to be able to work with. Now, I'm not sure if they'll change this down the road, some way to use the GPU for this. But the only time we've seen something like this is with the Qualcomm Snapdragon Elite chips. It does work pretty well over there, and I do hope they can bring this to the internal display. But this is really awesome, and it's a good use case scenario for an NPU. For me, using AI on it, it's okay. I personally don't use it much, but this is something I've been really waiting for. So yeah, I'm really excited about the upcoming ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X, but if we can get all of these features over on other handhelds, then I'd be stoked even more. I think this is just kind of the first foot in the door for Windows on handhelds getting optimized all the way across the board. Is it going to be able to take on SteamOS? Well, at the time of making this video, we have no clue. I mean, we really haven't been able to test all of the features just yet. But as soon as I can get my hands on one of these and make a bunch of videos without being kind of monitored making videos on it, I will show everything off with these handhelds. I'd love to get my hands on both of these, but of course I'm more excited about the Ally X version with that Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, if we get a more streamlined version of Windows for a handheld, would you consider using this over something like SteamOS? And if you have any ideas for new features that could come to Windows on handhelds, let us know down below. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.